PNP expel 4 people from the party, while 3 men shot in Clarendon. Cavaliers surge ahead in Premier League. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. And as we continue to wait on the decision of the Supreme Court on whether Section 3 of the 14th Amendment interpretation will prevent the ex-president from being on the ballot, the leaning here is that the Supreme Court will rule that his name be left on the ballot. But from listening and observing and researching several judicial scholars, the consensus is his name can remain on the ballot, but he cannot be sworn in if he wins the election. The argument to remove him gained momentum by contending that allowing Colorado, for instance, to disqualify Trump from appearing on the presidential ballot could establish a precedent where disqualification could become a routine measure for future nominees. This in turn could be applied not just to individuals with alleged connections to insurrections or rebellions as specified in the 14th Amendment, but to any candidate even if they did something simple. So what the Republicans are saying is if it can happen to Trump, it can happen to anyone. The underlying fear is that the outcome of Trump's legal battles might normalize the disqualification of candidates for reasons far removed from the grave allegations of insurrection or rebellion. However, the second part of this is the Third Amendment, Section 14, clearly states that taking part in an insurrection prevents you from taking the oath of office. So under no circumstance would he be able to be sworn in if he wins the presidency. So winning the presidency means nothing if you cannot be sworn in as president. Or does the Republicans have a plan for America? Think about that, because January 6 of 2021 could look like an enjoyable plate of oxtail followed by a sip of ice cold carrot juice come January 6 of 2025 if the Republicans win the election. And can't say me never wanna know. Back in Jamaica, 4 persons who were not nominated as candidates for the PNP and choose to run regardless as independents have been expelled from the party. They are Lydia Richards for the Ben Santon division in St. Anne Southeastern, Leighton Mackenzie for the Grangeville division in Westmoreland Western, Beverly Swaby for the Poorest division in Manchester Southern, and Uphill Purcell for the Yorktown division of Clarendon Southwestern. The PNP are always known to choose people. They do the choice from Kingston, whom they are friendly with, and not with who the people in the communities want, and this always results in a splintering of the vote, allowing the JLP to win. The expelling of these members will come back to bite them, mark my word, later this month. The 3 policemen detained in connection with the shooting death of a man at the Mother's fast food restaurant in Ocheres in St. Anne 2 weeks ago have now been charged. The 5 civilians who were also arrested in the case have also been charged. The 8 accused have been charged jointly with the offense of misprision of felony. The policemen have also been charged with misconduct in public office after they allegedly refused to disclose the identity of the shooter in the incident. The cops have been identified as Constable Huwain Ramsey, Marcel Carr, and Jamal Scott. The constables, along with the civilians, were detained 2 weeks ago following the January 27 shooting death of 30-year-old Kajay Sims of Bartlettstown in Gales in St. Mary, and it's alleged that he was shot after he used a knife to slash 2 of the men. Investigators accused the policemen who were among the group of failing to stop the shooting and later provided shelter to the shooter, who was transported in a convoy from St. Anne to Montego Bay following the incident. Detectives in Brownstown in St. Anne are now reviewing video footage to identify the perpetrators who held up and robbed the driver and attendant of a truck in the town early on Friday morning, relieving them of a large quantity of cash and several cases of top-shelf liquor. The incident reportedly unfolded minutes after 3 o'clock when the delivery truck was parked at the supermarket preparing to make a delivery when the store is open. The driver and attendants were reportedly asleep in the truck when 2 men armed with handguns ordered that the back of the truck be opened. The men complied and the cash and liquor was taken by the robbers, who then sped away in a waiting motor car. A St. Anne man is to be sentenced on February 13 for the murder of a woman who was seen on closed-circuit television CCTV footage leaving a bar with him in Runaway Bay in St. Anne in 2022. Al Romeo Pringle pleaded guilty to killing 26-year-old St. Elizabeth resident Rochelle Glaze when he appeared in the St. Anne Circuit Court last Thursday. Pringle, a resident of Mount Ararat in St. Anne, was remanded in custody until then. Reports are that on Sunday, May 22 of 2022, Glaze was last seen leaving a bar in the Runaway Bay area with a man. Investigators launched a probe and obtained CCTV footage which showed Pringle as the man who Glaze was seen leaving the bar with on the day she was last seen alive. Further investigations led the police to a shallow grave in Cardiff Hall in Runaway Bay area where Glaze's decomposed body was found, and Pringle was subsequently charged. and it's believed that Pringle and Glaze had a dispute during which he used a piece of board to hit her several times, resulting in her death. 3 men were shot and 2 died on Friday in Trout Hall, Frankfield in Clarendon. The deceased have been identified as 55-year-old Donald Richards, an auto body repairman, and 38-year-old William Sharp, a construction worker, both from the community. The third victim is a 70-year-old farmer. And it's reported that about 4:50 in the afternoon, the men were at an auto repair shop when 2 white cars, one believed to be a Toyota, drove up, and it is said that men alighted from the vehicles and opened fire, hitting the 3 victims. Mr. Richards died at the scene while Mr. Sharp was pronounced dead at hospital. Mr. Richards' wife said he was also the victim of a crime in January of this year as well. Superintendent Carlos Russell, commanding officer for the Clarendon Police Division, revealed that the persons who are suspected of shooting at Mr. Richards in that earlier incident were arrested and are before the court. He said a motive for Friday's murder has not yet been determined. Well, officer, that sounds like the motive. A man who reported engaged members of a police team in the Kingston Western Division in a shootout on Thursday was fatally shot and a firearm seized. And it's reported that about 10 p.m., members of the police team were on patrol in Mexico Heights in Trenchtown when they observed a group of men standing along a pathway acting in a suspicious manner. One of the men reported a pull gun fired at the police, and this led to an exchange of gunfire, and the man was shot and a semi-automatic pistol seized from him. The other men managed to escape. Onto sports, Jamaica Football Federation has announced a 22-player squad to face Chile in the FIFA window later this month, and it was noticed that the senior reggae girls who took part in the 2023 World Cup were all absent. According to JFF General Secretary Dennis Chung, it is not the fault of the federation. According to him, contact was made with the players, but they said they were not available. Of course, we cannot believe anything that Chung says, and even if the girls said they were not available, there is a reason that the requests by the girls were turned down. The GFF administration needs to be sacked and never to have anything to do with football ever again. Mark you, those lining up to take over said they will do better, but it is for us to see, as they all seem to be the same. The Reggae Girls will assemble in Chile on February 21 before playing 2 matches against that nation on February 23rd and 27. On the Premier League, Cavaliers put some distance from the rest of the teams, gaining 3 points last night to move to 40 points after trashing Limehall 4-0. Tivoli Gardens also gained 3 points with a 2-0 beating of Humble Lions to stay second on 37 points. Portmore moved into third on 36 after a 2-2 draw with Malines United, displacing Mount Pleasant, who did not play last night. And in other games, Dunbeholden and Treasure Beach played to a 1-1 draw. Montego Bay United and Arnett Gardens also played to a 0-0 draw. And tonight we'll see Veer United clash with Waterhouse, while Harborview will play Mount Pleasant. And that's going to be news and sports on your favorite community radio. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.